Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to California, where we get set to kick off yet another race of action here in the International Formula 4 Championship. Hello and welcome, one and all, to the show. My name is Nolan Rempel, and today we're going to be taking it over to good old classic street circuit racing, where we get set to take it to the Long Beach Street Circuit over here in beautiful Long Beach, California. Long Beach has always been known as one of the most famous street circuits in all of North America, if not, in fact, the world. It's going to be a fun ride for everybody so far here today, and of course, you know that these 21 drivers are going to have a lot of fun slinging their way around this racetrack for 32 laps as well. We're going to take a look at how the championship standings are going to be shaken on up, coming on over into tonight's presentation, as it's going to be Colin Cropley leading the way after he had a great race over at the Silverstone Circuit, but a hard-fought one as well. He had to work for the win and made it in a last lap pass around the Silverstone Circuit just a couple of days ago. So it's looking like he's going to be having himself hopefully a solid outing here tonight, though. He is starting up near that front row, but as is the points third place runner at the moment, Hare Owen, who is going to be having to really put in the work if he wants to see himself surpass both Mills and Cropley, as he currently finds himself sitting 11 points down in this field. So as all of this is wrapped up, qualifying is obviously fully set and good to go with everybody down on the starting grid. We'll take a quick run through of what your starting grid will look like for tonight's race. It's Will Parrish on pole position with Owen down on the front row. Colin Cropley will be seated in third with Spencer Calder down in fourth. Casey Wells is fifth. Monaco is sixth. Ryder Chisholm is in seventh with Stephen Colon in eighth. Mitchell O'Brien will be ninth with Alan North back in 10th. Jose Mills and Francis Boucher round out the top 12. From there, you got Trevor Marks and Tano Kiyoshi with Nathan Ormond sitting in 15th. Matt Jones, the first driver over a second out, down in 16th place. Axel McRae is in 17th with Christian Bracken at 18th. Ricky Stanton is 19th with JP Steele in 20th. And Danny Lawrence will round out the 21-car field for 32 laps of racing action here at beautiful Long Beach here tonight for race number 4 of the International Formula 4 Championship. We look towards what the races deeper on in the season will be taking a look like, particularly over at the next one for race number 5, as we're just working our way through this season. It'll be at Road Atlanta for a 24-lap race around the track at Braselton, Georgia. We'll get to all that and more in a moment, but for now, the lights are going to flick on as we get set to thunder away at the Long Beach Street Circuit. And we are off with all drivers taking off throughout this field. They thunder down side by side in towards turn number 1 over at the Toyota turn. Owen got away well with the race lead. He'll take the race lead down over into turn numbers 1 and 2. And meanwhile, this field filing themselves out as we take it through the racetrack, and a couple of cars colliding in the background. Most notably, one driver into the wall. That was, I believe, the 17 there of Stephen Colon that hit the outside wall, and the 89 of Ricky Stanton collected as well. Hopefully they'll be able to get themselves pulled off the track quickly, and we won't need to put ourselves under a safety car period for the first time tonight. Meanwhile, Owen once again with a good getaway. Parrish has fallen to second with Cropley the third as we fire our way down Seaside Way as we exit Pine Avenue up towards the Firestone turn. So far, so good for everybody throughout this field as we fire our way out of Firestone through the Indy left and coming up the hairpin to Shoreline Drive. Once again, we fire it down that front straightaway, and it will be Owen to lead the opening lap to green. Here in this one, JP Steele has had a collision with the wall as well. He'll be able to get himself hopefully pulled off before too long. But a couple of drivers then having themselves some pretty nasty incidents in the opening lap of this race, and we'll start it all off with what happened to Ricky Stanton as he was kind of taking a bit of a bad line, and it looked like he just clipped that outside wall. That's what caused him to go around to kick things off, and then obviously you had Stephen Colon have a problem of his own, and this was coming on down into the first hairpin. we'll take another look at this one, as this was out of turn number 1, and Cologne just getting crossed up with the 22 and actually got spun a little bit. He just couldn't find a good way to rejoin safely, and then we'll take a look at what happened to JP Steele as well in the mad dash down towards the Firestone turn. Just locked it up too deep and went nose first into the tire barriers. Kept going though, they managed to roll him back and out of the way. Owen has broken away with a solid lead so far. The rest of the field started to drop back as we throw it back out to the end left and down the hairpin to Shoreline Drive. Owen now has a 1.3 second lead over this field as the long draft train works its way down the pit straight. Down 2 drivers already as Will Parrish and Colin Cropley try to dice it out for that second position. Spencer Calder hangs around in 4th with Eric Monaco just sitting back there in 5th. A couple of drivers have already lost touch with the main pack. That's the likes of Daniel Lawrence and Steven Cologne. Both of these drivers found themselves collected in incidents early on the opening lap of the race, and now they're finding themselves way down and out, over 5 seconds back from the rest of the field. There is Will Parrish at the moment, trying to hold strong with Colin Cropley right behind him as we work our way back up in towards the hairpin and get set to thunder it back down at Shoreline Drive. Looking like this is going to be your running order for the time being until somebody really makes a bold move to try to go for positions. But right now, nobody's able to get close enough down the longest straightaway on this track to do so. So we're going to be sitting tight as it stands. As nobody's really eager to make some desperate moves this early on. Street circuit racing, obviously a very different dynamic in comparison to circuit racing. You know what, while we're in the midst of all of this here, why don't we take a look at Owen's start here, see how he got the lead from Will Parrish early. Just got that much better of a launch, and that was all she wrote. O was into the lead by the time they went through Bridgestone, and you see Parrish was just not able to contend down in the turn number 1. Had an effort, but Owen did a good job on covering it off, and then the 55 attacked as well, and that cost Parrish any chances of making that spot back on the opening laps. At Silverstone, we had seen a lot of side-by-side battling all throughout the race. Silverstone just being one of those tracks that invites that sort of racing, and no doubt we'll be seeing more of those tracks as we get set to throw ourselves along throughout the season. If you're interested in taking a look at some of the drivers throughout this field, but they might not be on your screens at the moment, you can always take a look at our live timing system that was decided to just start implementing this race onward. You can find that in the description. You'll have access to not just a live timing boards, but also a live track map showing all the drivers on track currently with their positions, and you'll be able to see where the breaks in the field are starting to form. You've got first place breaking away. You got second on back to about 10th. 11th through 15th are kind of in line, 6th to 7th on the lowest, and then you got 18th and 19th right at the tail end of this field. So we'll check in on some of the battles a bit further down the order, and here are a few of those now, as we've got Boucher, Marks, and Kyoshi all on the line. Then Gray and Bracken are together, and just behind her, kind of a bit of no man's lane. You'll find Matt Jones and Nathan Orman trying to catch up to the pack of three just in front of them. And there you can see Hare Owen at the bottom of the screens, and right there is second place, really showing just how far ahead he's already pulled in such a short amount of time. Continuing to work our way around Long Beach, California, through the car park. And hard on the brakes once again for the classic Long Beach hairpin. Lap by lap, we tick them away. No changes in position have occurred since the opening lap of this race, and it was an exciting opening lap. As I say that, just had a change in hands back for 11th place as Francis Boucher just fought his way past Trevor Marks. That was coming up to the run through Tecate Turn down Pine Avenue that this overtake came from, and you can see Boucher now starting to pull a handsome gap. We'll take a look at how this one happened. Oh, it was a lockup from Trevor Marks. That allowed Boucher to just sweep right on through without any kind of a fight. So Marks making it easy on Francis Boucher as we hightail it back down the straightaway, and trouble for Daniel Lawrence, who might have just had himself a bit of a problem, and Steven Cologne getting up and by the number 68. It looks like Lawrence is fine now. Oh, has he gone to the offensive into the hairpin? Oh, no, the 68 locked it up. And that lets Cologne steal away the 18th place. Now, obviously, these are not being scored for points back here in the field. But you know what? I want to look at that one more time here on board with Steven Cologne. Watched the lockup and just saw the opportunity, and he took it. Just no hesitation for the number 17 car. He jumped on the binders, and that was all she wrote. Pack from second on back to 10th remains the closest drivers in this field. From there you got Parrish, Cropley, Calder, Monaco, Wells, Chisholm, O'Brien, Mills, and Norm, all separated by just over 3 seconds on the course. Will Parrish continues to lead the way. Owen is now pulled out. Over a 6-second gap on the remainder of this field as we once again will take it down Shoreline Drive. And we'll watch the lap counters click over into double digits. Want to get another look on the green flag as a whole, see how this looked for the other drivers throughout this field for these few opening corners, as you'll see just how hectic a standing start of the street circuit can be. There's a reason why IndyCar tends to do rolling starts on their stuff, and well, this is exactly why. It can bottleneck so quickly down into some of these corners, and you can see all the double file action that was taking hold all throughout this stretch as they took their way around the fountain section, and see drivers get shoved out left and right because nobody's able to properly get themselves sorted deeper in the field. But they did get it relatively calmed down fairly quickly as Daniel Lawrence has just made his way over into pit road. So interesting there for Lawrence, who took a trip down to the pits. And was there a potential collision with Lawrence here? We'll take a look. He's got Colon behind him, and that was actually the overtake. So Lawrence seemingly coming down of his own volition here, but he had a 28-second pit stop, which tells me he had himself a fairly bad run and got some sort of damage on his car. He's back out now, but right in front of traffic. That was in front of the biggest pack you had yet, and luckily we were able to get around him safe and sound. But until that check these guys up a bit, is now it's a 7.5 second gap between Owen and Parrish. They're going to need your race leader to crash out at this point in time if he's going to be able to find his way back up there through this field. So Lawrence now sits a lap down. Got about 20 seconds separating second from 18th. The remaining drivers on the lap, not of course counting Owen, who is the race leader. Side-by-side battle back here with Matt Jones going up against Tano Kiyoshi. That's not going to go anywhere, but here comes Nathan Orman trying to go on offense. It was a move for Jones trying to overtake the Japanese driver, but now Kiyoshi is going to send it, Orman, excuse me, try to send it down the inside of Matt Jones, but it's not going to happen, and will remain single file on the approach to the hairpin. Credit where credit's due, there was certainly an attempt, but unfortunately was not an attempt that I would say was entirely worth it. We sit just over 1/3 distance now in this race as we'll continue to work our way around that beautiful Long Beach street circuit. Trouble now for Francis Boucher, who has crashed. And he is going to find himself reset back to pit road. It looks like whatever it was, not bad enough to warrant a safety car, but this is what happened to the number 30 car. Oh, just lost it. Lost the back end, and around he goes. Boucher is around. Meanwhile, fastest laps of the race, at least personal best of the race, being set by 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and in fact 15th, all on the same lap here. So a few guys having some impressive runs as we continue to slowly approach our way up to half distance. I think you even see this pack starting to split apart a little bit as the back driver is starting to slowly but surely lose their grip on the rest of these guys. Well, a little bit of a lockup that time by for Parrish, as meanwhile Danny Lawrence just got by Francis Boucher, but that was just passing the spot where, of course, he had crashed earlier in the race. And in fact, now we'll see Francis Boucher starting to leave the pits. In front of all the other drivers in this field, as we'll fight our way through, and Boucher just got passed up by Daniel Lawrence as well for position. That was just on pit exit, though. So nothing really to note there. There are also, of course, both drivers that are laps down. Long Beach, of course, one of those tracks where passing can certainly be a premium due to the tight nature. It's so difficult to be able to close up to the gearbox of your opponents here, even in lightweight and underpowered cars like the Formula IR04s. It's just a constant problem of having to negotiate a tighter circuit, and because the walls are so close, you're not really willing to be as brave as you might necessarily be at some of the points, just due to the fact of how easy it is to slip up and how easy it is to find yourself careening into one of the walls, whether it be the inside or the outside. It could really go both ways. O'Brien, Jose Mills, and Alan North all set their best laps of the race. This last time by, they had set themselves 1:19.12, 13, and 14 respectively. Another big train starting to form up here in the back. This is headed up here by Trevor Marks. It includes Kiyoshi, Jones, Ormond, Bracken, and more. This was a pack that we thought might have been split up, but I think as the long run pace starts to come in for more and more drivers, we'll be seeing some of the guys starting to get themselves a bit more sorted towards the end of this. And we'll see that long run pace kick in for drivers throughout this field, as has been a remarkably great race outside of a single spin and a crash on an opening lap. Nothing with car-to-car contact just yet, but the race, with it being in the big game, there is still very much the potential for it to go all sorts of awry. So as we continue to work our way around the Long Beach Street Circuit, we are half distance, just over that now. We're going to take a quick step back, and we'll be back with a continuation of the International Formula 4 Championship here in just a few moments.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Long Beach Street Circuit, where we have some developments as Stephen Colon has gone around. This was once again on the approach up to one of the tighter corners on the circuit, and this time still managed to avoid collecting anybody else, but it was a solo spin then for Stephen Colon. This happened just moments ago. Other than that, you have not missed much. You are still less than 20 laps deep into the International Formula 4 Championship race here at the Long Beach Street Circuit, as Stephen Colon becomes our third driver to fall victim to a classic street circuit blunder. Stalled the car, got it pushed clear when drivers were saved. Meanwhile, Francis Boucher has gone around again. So Boucher now having his second spin of the afternoon. Same thing as before, just looped it, coming on around. Coming up towards off of Pine Avenue. A very typical mistake to make here at Long Beach. Stephen Colon now waiting in the pits, no doubt to get some damage repaired before making his re-entry. There it is. Start to make his way back out onto the race course. Race leader Owen has broken away by now 11 seconds over the rest of this field, and so far has been just on an absolute tear. They say starting position is often oh so important. And most tracks, they'll put the pole sitter on the left-hand side of the first braking zone, which in this case, that is a good thing. The first turn is over to the left, but it's even better for the second place driver because they'll have the entire inside line all the way out through this long, sweeping right-hander. And that is what allowed for Owen to get the lead early. I've been watching that 35 car, been steadily losing a bit of time as we've gone along. Ryder Chisholm has been backing it up. Mitchell O'Brien, Jose Mills, and Alan North as your front pack started to dissipate somewhat. Now got several smaller drafting trains making up your 21 car field with a few drivers kind of in the mix, but now laps down as a result of prior incidents. Problems for Daniel Lawrence, who has gone into the inside wall, and that one's going to trigger a safety car. So Lawrence is going to be down and out of the fight as Owen will be the first driver to pick up the iRacing pace car. I believe this will be the first safety car period we've had all season long. The USF 2000 Championship, when they went here a little while ago, they had about 2 or 3 periods behind the Porsche 911 pace car. This is going to bunch the whole field right up together. And we'll get sent to rack 'em, stack 'em, and do it all over again. waited on some of the last drivers to catch up to the tail end of the pacing line, and you really get a feel of just how spread out this field had gotten around the Long Beach Street Circuit. We're going to bring up the track map on the bottom right. You can see there's the race leader in 17th place, still coming around towards turn number 1. So a lot of drivers were a pretty hefty distance away from being able to fully catch up here. Steven Colon, the driver that is furthest back in the field and also 1 lap down, will be sat back in the 17th place at the tail end of the pacing line. I wonder if they'll put Francis Boucher behind him. We'll get an idea of that when we kind of get a figure as to how long we're going to be under this safety car period for. Let's take a look at what happened to Daniel Lawrence to trigger this safety car period. All by himself, coming on down towards turn number 1. Will the Bed just locked it up. It went in way too hot. Yeah, there it is. There's the lock. Just can't turn, and didn't get or quite get the best angle there. We'll see if we can find a better one. This one should be able to do it here. Yeah, locked it up and just face first. Just a bad situation all around as a few drivers are taking it down into pit road. Mostly Boucher, McRae, and Cologne all down in for pit service. They'll be out and about without too much incident. I believe we'll be coming back with 9 laps left to go. So we will once again find ourselves taking a quick step back, and we'll be back in time for the restart in a few moments. We'll be talking to you all again shortly.
Coming up to the line, being chased, and it was Braden Johnson.
Unbelievable finish.
It was 1/1000th of a second between them.
Green flag in the air. We are racing in the 2020 24 Hours of Daytona.
They go door to door for the feature race lead here on the last lap of the race. Side by side for the race lead in the final corner at Homestead.
Down the back straightaway, 3 wide again for the race lead. This is unbelievable stuff here tonight.
Loma is going to have to be very deep on the brakes, and he is very deep on the brakes. It's side by side through the corner. This is for the win.
It'll be side by side. Davies low, Ottinger high. To the very inside is Garrett Lowe. 4 wide at the stripe. For Audie's win here on this outside line. Neck and neck. Who's going to back out? Does anyone back out? Verstappen starts to squeeze on the inside, and now he'll try and straight line it. Goes under the apron. Drag race to the line. It's so close to call.
Still under our first iRacing safety car period here from virtual Long Beach Street Circuit, and in fact the first one of the International Formula 4 Championship season as you take in the beauty of Long Beach with your field of 21 cars strong. Slowly making our way down towards turn number 1. Word is safety car will be in this time by. And we get set to go racing back in just a short little while then. Owen got out to a very good lead early on, but this would be one of his best chances to, or for Will Parrish, this would be Parrish's best chance here to try to get him back. Will be on this dash down towards turn number 1 this time by. Mentioned we would take a look on what's coming on up in the championship as well for the Formula IRO 4s, and we'll hold true to that statement. As mentioned before at the top of the broadcast, it is going to be Road Atlanta, one of my personal favorite tracks to drive, up next for a 24-lap run. But then we swing on over to a brand new track introduced to the sim service just this past build. The Rudskogen Motor Center. Apologies if I just butchered that, but that's going to be a fun race in of itself. A brand new track. We get down to the Circuit of the Americas. It'll be Knock Hill for the shortest track of the season for a 48-lap race. Then the Red Bull Ring will round out the first 10 races. A lot of big-name tracks going to be coming on up here in the next little while. For now, it's time to see what's going to happen in the last 9 laps of race number 4 at the Long Beach Street Circuit. Pace car is down and in. And we're back to green. Parrish has got the draft, trying to pull all the way down the long front straightaway, and the back dash in towards turn number 1. A couple of passes deeper in the field. We'll get back to that in a moment. Meanwhile, hard on the brakes for turn 1. No move being made for Will Parrish. Was not able to get himself sorted. So bad news there for Will Parrish. If he wanted to go and try to go on offense for the latter positions here in this one. We'll take a quick look on some of the overtakes coming to the restart and in the run down in towards turn number 1 here. This is all taking place down to the back end of the field for the last positions that are up for points today. We saw Matt Jones lunge to the inside of Stephen Cologne. And here's the move. Will Parrish to the outside, and he's going to take that one away. Owen falling victim to Will Parrish. They're still side by side, hopping over the curb and locking up the brakes is the number 12. But he's going to force his way through. What a move for Will Parrish, who just took that one away with force. Parrish was not about to be denied, and he retakes the race lead. Have to get another look at that one again. We'll ride on board, watch as he lunges around the outside line, and right here, I thought it was over. He jumps up on the curb and nearly loses control. That is absolutely incredible. One more look here, and we'll slow this one down this time around as we come around. Watch that front end right there. All 4 wheels off the ground, but he wrestles it back and locks it down just in time for the hairpin. Parrish now holds the race lead, and he's going to do everything he can to try to make sure he can hang on to it here. As Jose Mills goes on defensive drivers behind. Already you've got 2 packs starting to form up deeper in the field. Laps continue to tick away, and now it's Will Parrish who is starting to extend his lead, but not as much as Owen had been when he had the lead earlier on in this race. And a bad safety car period could still upset the balance, if we could see Owen just take that lead right back on a restart. The way it sits right now, if we do get a safety car, Oh no! Owen spins it! Owen loses control of the car! And that is going to see him tumble down and out of this race as Owen loops it around. And now, out! All of a sudden, the 4.4 second lead back to Colin Cropley. It is such an easy mistake. And we'll take a look as Owen flies up over the hill. Just locked the rears and spun the car around. Lucky to keep it from the outside. Monaco to jump on the binders to avoid running into him. And just like that, your race leader is once again gone, checked out. It was not the kind of drama we were expecting to see at the end of this race, but it really shows how a safety car period can just upend the balance of everything in a race. As now Owen going to get set to leave pit road. And he's going to be coming on now right by your race leaders here. Parrish is going to get through safe and sound, and he's going to find himself a nice hole that he can just tuck into here before second place comes flying up on him. That's just not the way you wanted to have this go, though, and that is it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. You've done such a good job all race long, and you bid it on a mistake that late. Already you can see Spencer Calder trying to apply the pressure to the back of Owen here, as Owen tries to just keep going more laps down than he already is. That is allowing Calder to close up as Cropley is slowly getting a little bit checked up here by the number 63. Coming to 3 laps to go this time by. At this point, if we do get another safety car, we would be seeing this race finishing behind the safety car. Here we go. Spencer Calder trying to go around the outside of Colin Cropley, while Cropley's trying to lap Owen here. This is going to get tight as Owen's going to check up the entirety of the second pack, allowing for Cropley to easily break through by a good second and a half almost. So not going to make these drivers back here fighting for this last podium position very happy that you've got a guy like Owen that is now holding everybody up. At this point, though, I think they're just going to have to learn to live with it. I mean, you've got 3 laps, less than that to go. You're not catching Cropley in that short amount of time. not from this far back. Got a few drivers still getting close, though, deeper in the field. This is that second pack that's really formed up now. And drivers are starting to get a bit more antsy as time goes along. We're tracking Orman at the moment, along with Alan Orton, Kyoshi Jones, Christian Bracken, and Axel McRae. He's right on board with Orman here. 2 laps to go at the line this time by. So all 4 positions that are outside of the point except for Jones, who leads the train. Trying to fight just to secure that 1 point. Check back in up here. As you can see, Kroppel and Owen both starting to pull away. Helping each other out a little bit here, forcing Calder and Monaco to kind of sit a little bit further back and try to duke this one out amongst themselves. Monaco's going to have to try to find a way through, though, if he wants to pick up a podium here, as Will Parrish is going to cross the start-finish line and take 1 lap to go. We'll be having ourselves a green flag finish here. As Parrish, Kroppel, and Calder are looking to be the drivers to wrap out the podium here, unless something big changes here in the moves for 5th on up. A bit wide there for Monaco. Open up the door for Casey Wells to try to attack, but he's going to have the door slammed shut right on his face as they work their way up towards the Firestone Bend. And now, down Bridge Street for the final time, down into the last set of corners. Meanwhile, for Will Parrish, it's going to be a race win here on the streets of Long Beach, California. Will Parrish wins race number 4. As behind, here comes the battle for 3rd, and it's going to remain in the hands of Spencer Calder. Just waiting now on the last train to cross start finish. And it will be Matt Jones to take the final podium position, or the final points paying position, I should say. We'll take a rundown of what your race results are going to look like then for this one, as we will continue to now steadily work our way on through. And it's Will Parrish to take the race win over Colin Kroppel and Spencer Calder down in 3rd. Aaron Monaco will be back there in 4th. Casey Wells will be rounded out 5th place with Ryder Chisholm in 6th. O'Brien was 7th with Jose Mills in 8th. Trevor Marks was 9th, and Matt Jones will round out the top 10. From there, Alan North is going to be down to 11th with Nathan Orman in 12th. Tano Kiyoshi will be in 13th with Christian Bracken in 14th. Axel McRae was the last driver to finish on the lead lap, down in 15th place with Hare Owen. A very disappointing run for him after he made a mistake while dominating the race. Finishes back in 16th place, 1 lap down, with 17th place holding Stephen Colon. Francis Boucher in 18th. Danny Lawrence was in 19th, not finishing this race. Same story for Ricky Stanton and JP Steele. And with your results all wrapped up, in just a second here, we'll take a rundown of what your championship standings are going to be looking like. after the race tonight, and we'll get those up on screen now. As at the top of the boards, it is still Colin Cropley to lead the way by now 69 points, but Will Parrish on the climb, working his way up 4 positions, now sits 22 points back from that number 55, with Eric Monaco in 3rd, Calder in 4th, Mills dropping 3 to 5th, and Hare Owen, mentioned before, a lot of work for him has to be done as he drops down to 29 points behind Colin Cropley. That's all the time we're going to have for one day, though, here from the streets of Long Beach and for the International Formula 4 Championship. Next time we go racing, it'll be for 24 laps in Braselton, Georgia, where we get set to go racing at the home of Petit Le Mans. It's Road Atlanta coming on up next for race number 5 in the International Formula 4 Championship.